ahead and hit up our next newbie on the panel, Mr. Anthony Wilson. Come on and share your topic with us.
Absolutely. My topic is leaning toward preparation. Often I hear a lot of people talk about the type of mate they want in their life. They always talk about this person has to be this way, this person has to be that way. So my question and my focus is on what are you doing to prepare yourself to receive the type of mate that you believe you need in your life?
Ooh, we gonna definitely have to call the audience up on that.
I always talk about when we go look for a vehicle or house, there's certain things that have to be in place before you purchase them. Mm-hmm. Credit, right, debt ratio, pre-approved in a lot of places. We work very hard in those areas to try to get those things up to par before we even go and see a house, before we even go and get the car, because we know and understand that how important that process is to make not only things more balanced for you to get it, but also easier for you to get the papers and things signed. But when it comes to relationships, I think we kind of seem to believe we come born ready, that we have this innate built in us that we are so, whatever it is, I'm ready for it. We want the person that's got this money, making this type of this, looking this particular way, living this particular lifestyle. Meanwhile, our house and ourselves are so distorted and jacked up, we can't even invite people over. You know, we can't even put people in our personal space because it's an embarrassing situation. You haven't built yourself to even receive what you're asking for. And we put on a facade to believe that there's something wrong with the world because I'm single. I can't find nobody that want me. Well, you don't want you. That's why you're not working on it. We work more on our exterior than our interior. And we sit back and we blame everything else. I've seen a pattern of people passing it on to everyone else's reason why they're in the state of they are in relationships, when in reality, your beast is what you see every morning when you get in the mirror. So my thing is preparation. What are you doing right now in your life to challenge yourself to get past the you and you so that you can be able to receive what you believe you're supposed to have in life?
So in answering this question, how many of you are single in here? Okay, so I would like for all of you to actually come to the mic at some point and actually answer this question. Yes, you too, Trini. Don't shake your head. I would, because this is good for you. You getting this stuff early in life.
$1 million worth of game.
I would love to have gotten some of this
it.
stuff early in life. Ain't no telling what I would have been doing. But go ahead. You were going to say something.
Well, that's what I wanted to say to the brother. I remember being in my youth, 19, 20, 21, madly in love, desperately wanted a strong, healthy, I probably wasn't using the word healthy. That's my wisdom talking. I wanted a dope relationship, right? But I ain't had no tools. I didn't have the tools to pick. I didn't have the tools to curate. I didn't have the tools to lead. I didn't have the tools to fully reciprocate a healthy relationship. And that is what I see out here in the world, which you said earlier. Most people, they want it, but they don't have no type of tools that will help them to possibly even have a remotely a chance of achieving it. And so how can young people and or people our age, where can they go acquire the tools that they need to build a healthy relationship?
Go ahead.
I think most of us are born with like a delusion, right? Women, I usually call y'all delusion, the Disney princess delusion, where you just feel like you have to show up to the window and bat your hair, and some guy is going to go and kill dragons and slay witches for you. Men are born with the penis delusion. It's just that, I have a penis, so I am entitled to a certain thing.
They definitely have that. Yes, we're going to get it.
They clap for that one.
No, I'm serious.
They was all saying princess. They like, what are they talking about? Then when the men,
Let's not go to war.
She was owning it. She was owning it.
Let's not go to war.
It's kind of like so. But I think as young people, you're not gonna know better. You're not gonna know better because most people, parents, don't teach them better. Unless you grow up with like parents who are really thoughtful about your development in that area, you're not gonna know better. Guys are pretty much, especially, I don't know about y'all when y'all was younger, but guys are pretty much, directed to, try to get as much ass as you can. And you figure it out later. I'm not quite sure what women are told. I think a lot of y'all are told to keep it to yourselves as much as you can. But then, a lot of people figure out that if you're keeping it to yourself, you're not really getting any attention because, if she's giving it up, guys are going to go see her. But I think that preparation for most people, thoughtful preparation, is after you have made mistakes in life. Because I think that a lot of people grow up thinking people are supposed to appease them. And so this is what I want. We all thinking about what it is that we want in a person. We're not thinking about what we are going to give a person, what we are going to be for a person. It's just, I need this, I need that, but it's not, what I'm going to give. Everybody wants what they're not willing to give. And that is a problem that, we have in relationships. Everybody can name everything they want, but they don't name what they want to give and what they want to be for another person.
So
go ahead, because I know she got a question over here.
I had an opposite sort of experience. So you said, what are you doing to prepare yourself for the relationship? So I grew up as a daddy's girl. My father, and he was a player back in the day, like known in the city. Even though he had my mom, they was husband and wife living in the same house. But what I learned over time that my dad did, which is a lot of stuff that's in the book, he gave me these little trinkets, right? These little jewels along the way, because he always told me not to be like my mother. And I never knew what he actually meant until he died. Okay. And so I learned a lot of family secrets, which I'm not going to say right now. But what my dad told me growing up, because what he didn't want was for me to get plagued. So, he used to always tell me that the daughter pays for the sins of the father. And so he wanted to make sure that I guess I just didn't get burnt out down here because, he had did a whole lot of stuff in his day. So what he did tell me, as he prepared me to not get plagued, he also really stressed a lot about, so my mom was very sheltered. And I guess she didn't really, I don't know, maybe she got pregnant with me. I don't know how they wound up together really, because they were so different. But anyway, what he did tell me along the way is what Okara just kind of alluded to. He really put into me, he said, well, a man needs this. A man wants that. You're supposed to do this. You got to stroke his ego, this, that, and the other. Plus, I'm older. So I grew up in a traditional era. He's like, he told me not to, he said, you can't take any credit for being cute. That was me and your mama. So you should be smart, or you should know how to cook, or you need to know how to do something. So all of the things that I was told was things that were active for a relationship toward taking care of your mate. And then I did see my mom doing that because that's, kind of what my dad required. But I saw her kind of catering to him, right? And so, especially in, my third relationship ended in marriage, right? And so after that, after he was killed, then there was a whole, healing period or whatever. I'm a widow. I think I said that in my introduction. But there was a healing period, and then, I kind of got back out there. So I've never had a problem attracting the kind of men that I wanted, right? But then what I realized over time, Because one of the things I've said a lot, and I'm sure Okara and Yatu have heard me say it, is I left most of my relationships. I broke up with them because I wasn't getting what I want. And you know why? Because I didn't even know what the hell I wanted. I had been trained all this time to give to that other person, to cater to their needs until my needs were lacking because I didn't even know what my needs were. So after I had this one relationship, and they remember Will. After that relationship, after we broke up, we was together for about 3.5, 4 years, whatever. After we broke up, I took a year and a half, and I refused to date. It wasn't that I didn't have an opportunity to date. I just I didn't want to meet any new men. I don't want to meet no new men. I just want to hang out with, I have male friends, right? I just want to hang out with them, talk to them, you know. And I started a journey of figuring out who I was and what I like to do. So then now when I go out looking, you know, for a guy, I feel like I'm going to get more fulfillment. It's not just him. I'm not just the chick that's going to cater to him. I'm actually getting something out of this relationship because relationships are not just for one person. Both of those people have to be fulfilled in that relationship. Happiness and fulfillment is what life is about for me. And so whether it's personal or professional, we have to.
I wanted to hear what the young lady was going to.
Okay, come on over here.
No, not so much a question. Just to elaborate just to elaborate on the topic. So, you say, what does some people or people do to prepare themselves? So, first of all, people need to realize from previous relationships why they were in it or what did they learn. Like when I meet men, I don't want to know what happened in your marriage. I want to know, what did you learn? And my first thing is someone says, well, what do you do? I said, I work on me every day. So in terms of something spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever area, in reading, learning, talking with people, trying to meet other people, you know, and look at myself every day. But I said this at the last podcast, people have to stop being so fucking selfish. Everybody is always me, me, me. You can't do anything in this world. Everything has to be we. And so many people have to get out of that me, because if it's about you, if you say me, 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 how can it ever be a we? And how can you expect someone to give you something that you're not willing to give?
I think a big fight that I see is, and I appreciate what you were saying, is that a lot of people are fed through like social media and peers the it's about me mindset. You know, girl, get your money, get your bag. Man, look, dude, she ain't doing this for you. You don't do this for her. It's a transactional relationship, and and even though relationships are business based, we have to learn to be mature enough to understand that if you're talking about coexisting with someone, being in the same space with them, we're not talking about for the weekend. I can tolerate your red flags for a week. We're talking about
for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. And I think this is where the context gets blown away, because we're using Band-Aids when stitches should be in place. And we're creating a mindset out here that it's about me, and if he ain't doing this for me, then I ain't gonna be with him. And I don't know, no relationship starts out great.
And you have to do it with somebody. So why don't people finally decide this clock is ticking?
Because men don't think in time. Most men don't think in time. Women think biological clock situation. Yes. I gotta have a baby by this time. I gotta have this by this time. Men don't think like that at all. We have babies at 70 years old. We don't care. You know, it is what it is. But when it comes to relationships, we don't realize that it takes work before you start dancing. You have to start learning how to do this stuff before you get into these things. And it's easier said than done. But what I'm seeing is that so many people have this ideology of what they want, and it's like they waiting for that person.
Well,
but while they're waiting, but while they're waiting, they're tearing up the road with other people's hearts and behaviors, because what drives you, and it's going all the way back to the beginning of this thing, what would drive you to lock in and say you're in a relationship with somebody and you still got your one eye open to go look at somebody else? it's because you ain't really should have been with that person.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
right? It's the ego.
Yeah.
Right? People are struggling, especially in today's world with social media and everything that you just brought up,
Yeah.
to identify the difference between what feeds their ego and what feeds their soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That a lot of people are, and that's something I had to heal from. I was attracted to toxicity. That I was so used to toxicity that healthy scared me to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And toxicity felt like home. It felt comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? It allowed me to be in protection mode, what I call soldier mode, right? Every man has two men in him, the soldier and the king. Does the choices you make in your romantic life result in the soldier coming out, where you got on a bulletproof vest, you got a rifle,
right.
and you out here shooting and trying to make sure you don't get shot? Or do you have your crown on, where you can love and you can give and you understand who you are, you understand what your destiny is, you understand that your destiny is a journey and a process that's not necessarily supposed to bring you everything you want overnight, and so you choose to put that crown on and to submerge yourself in kingly behaviors, thoughts, and processes as you move through the romantic space. And I say that as a person who certainly had a vest and a rifle on more years than I had on a crown.
On the young man.
Greetings, everybody. Brother Michael.
We can hear you, but
No doubt. Brother Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you, brother.
All right. To answer in the preparedness question,
Thank you.
I work with men from early adolescence to geriatrics.
Absolutely.
And we sit in wellness circles nationwide and such. And when we talk about relationships, right, I always ask my guys, and as well as myself, what would make a woman want to cross the finish line of her life with you?
Absolutely.
Right, excuse me.
Great question.
And vice versa. And so then we start to look at, and it was amazing that my brothers hadn't really looked at characteristics and virtues, right? We were looking for blueprints, but it's like we're looking for how to build a building, but we don't understand about materials, right? We don't understand about foundation. We don't understand about the necessary geometrics that we need to before we even get to building, before we even break ground, right?
Absolutely.
And so we started building on these virtues. We started talking about it, right? And what we found was that the more brothers started to investigate within themselves, and we asked, I said, well, if you want to build a perfect relationship, or if you wanted to build a relationship that did not succeed, that was not successful, what are all the elements that would be in an unsuccessful relationship? Yeah. What are all the characteristics that would make up the person in an unsuccessful relationship? Now, how many of these virtues are within you?
Absolutely.
Right? Let's start to eliminate this. Now we start to add, now we start to have a self-understanding about what self-work needs to be done. So it's easy to say, let's do some self-work. Okay, with self-work, but where?
Absolutely.
The ankle, the knee, the heart, right? Everybody
Right,
look different for everybody else. So, I do this now. 10 years married last year. My wife is here.
Congratulations.
And when one of my guys was like, man, if you had to sum up marriage for you in terms of experience as a husband, I said to him, I said, to ask my wife, how long does a good deed last?
Right. Till it's over.
Her response is, what good deed? What good deed? Which is deep.
Absolutely.
Because in the preparedness part, all the things money can't buy. I'm a master of the small things, right? I believe if I trust my choice, and I was blessed to find my choice, then there are going to be some things that I don't even have to worry about trying to fulfill. It would be wasted energy.
Absolutely.
Trying to fulfill a cup that's already fulfilled in that capacity. However, my father taught me how to love my mother. Mom come home from work, go get the lotion, massage her feet. Sometimes she might just need tea. Better for her to say no than for you to have to ask, right? So there was these characteristics and virtues that I constantly remind myself now as a grown man, like, man, master the small things, right? What are the? It's up to us to subjectify our relationships, right? Make it something that we study.
Absolutely.
Right? Make it something that we research. Make it something that we explore. Make it something that we evolve and grow. And in doing so, lastly, to close off, when I realized I'd be 49 at the end of this month, and so then I was like, I needed a new category of looking at myself to be my own worst critic. I'm like, I got some underdeveloped areas, and I have some undeveloped areas.
Absolutely.
To a woman looking from the outside in, this would frustrate the hell out of my wife. Like, damn, I'm like, no, baby, I'm just undeveloped over here. Or I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just wanted to comment, but I love that question requires one to look within.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's the whole purpose of it.
Introspection. You know
Absolutely.
What I'm saying? So appreciate that.
I appreciate that, brother Mike. Thank you so much.
I just kind of wanted to make a comment to what he was saying. I didn't do my preparation until I was writing my first book. So I'm sitting there, and the reason I actually started writing the book is because I have a few friends who are women, and one of my closest friends, she came to me and she had asked a question about her man, and she told me like what her girlfriends had told her to do, and I was they sending you off. I was like, y'all need to stop listening to each other. And so that's actually what gave me the idea, right? So I started writing the book, and I'm writing the book. And as I am writing the book, I realized I was advising women against me. I was like, oh shit, I do that, and the funny thing about it was all this time I thought I was like this really good guy. Like I said, I was, I prefer monogamy, so I'm like, I don't have a problem being faithful, right? I was traditional, so I don't have a problem entertaining. But there was like a couple of things that I realized about me that was like a little toxic. And so
a little toxic.
It was a little toxic,
Like a little, like a little pregnant.
No, it was
Just a little pregnant.
This much?
Just a little bit pregnant.
It was a little toxic.
About that much. I'm just
But
a little
I'ma
bit.
tell you,
That qualifier is cold.
But I'm gonna tell you, it was quiet toxic, where you probably, if you was the girl, you probably wouldn't understand. Like, when we broke up, they probably think it was their fault, right? What I noticed is that, like, so after about a year or so, everybody would go crazy, right? What I would call crazy. And it really boiled down to a couple of things. One, how I would approach, like what I would be thinking in my mind, right? And so when I would meet somebody, first thing I would think about is whether or not, we could get along. The second thing would be, how long it would probably take me to have sex with her. The third thing was what I was going to use to break up with her.
Wow. That's how you started.
That's how I started everything.
And you didn't think that was a bad.
I didn't. No, I thought it was smart.
It was a little.
toxic.
But
So what he's saying is he had on a vest and a rifle.
So like I said, I felt like it was a little toxic after I thought about it, because that whole year, you didn't have to worry about me messing with nobody. We was right. I'm just
He
saying.
waited till you broke up.
No, I'm just saying, it was one of those things. Like, I was, you call me, I was always available, all this stuff. You want to go there, you want to, whatever, dinner, this, whatever. But then after a year, or so, people, because everything would be going so well, people would they would start wanting to meet my family and all this stuff, and they would start feeling a little funny, because around that time, if everything going good, you're like, I really like this guy. He's a good guy. He don't lie. He don't do whatever, right? And all along, I'm like, shit, I'm about to break up with you in 3 months.
You know what?
So
go ahead.
that was the moment. Like, as I'm sitting here writing this book, that was the moment I was like, dude, you
I can
foul.
relate. That's
You are
all I'm
sitting
say.
here and you are presenting this really good guy when I'm really not. And so, yeah.
Let me say something quick, and then I know you got something to say. First of all, thank you, Brother Mike. That was real good. The response you had. You know, a lot of us walk around like time bombs. You know, we're ticking. It just takes one exposure to set us off. And there's nothing more volatile to explode from than being rejected from somebody you actually liked. See, it's easy to be rejected from somebody you never cared for anyway, right? You know, that's why when I listen to people talk to me about, you know, all these guys are after me. Yeah, you know, they don't bother you because you're not attracted to them. The one that's going to bother you is the guy you're attracted to. That's the one when he says no, the bomb starts kicking in. You begin to deflect. Something's wrong with him. He must got mama issues or daddy issues. Girl,
ED.
He gay. All the things.
Then you surround yourself with the other minions that sound just like you. Girl, he don't know what he's missing.
Say it again.
He don't
bro.
know what girl, look, forget him. These men don't know how to choose no woman. Meanwhile, your whole backyard full of dynamite and firecrackers. You got all type of damage going on back there. Unchecked. And you work so hard on your exterior to try to attract this type of guy. But your interior is just one fuse away from blowing up your whole life. And we sit back, and that's when we talk about preparation. Have you cleared that yard? Have you went back there and moved things out the way to receive the type of man that you want, or woman that you want? Not somebody. It's easy to be, like I said, it's easy to reject people you're not interested in. There is no brag to me from a guy coming to me talking about, man, I got like 6 girls. Then he showed me these pictures of these girls. I'm like, man, come on, man. Come on, man, really? You caught them fish in a barrel. You know what I mean? That ain't no fisherman. Show me you put the work in to go get the big one in the ocean.
I got a question for you after we let Scott go.
Absolutely.
But I got a question.
And so when I see talking about preparedness, I do want people to start reflecting more on themselves on the inside, because that's what I see sets it off in the office. When you start putting that light in them spaces and saying, well, I know you brought your husband in here because you feel like he needs to hear counseling. But as we begin to peel this onion back, you triggered him. No, I didn't. And it becomes a big explosion. And then when you start breaking down those things of how it happened, the hardest part is accepting that you did. Denial is a long stage to get through before you get to acceptance.
Okay, let's let Scott
Go
go
ahead.
because we getting our
Sure,
time
sure.
is running out.
I got a church later on tonight, so
You going to church? You said no.
I got church in the
for
morning.
the record, I'm a preacher's kid, so you know this. You know this.
I know a lot.
No, you triggered a thought, and my question to you now, I don't have a deep thought on it. Just I think I shared the same thing with you in your top 3, and my question would be, don't you think that was sort of a defense mechanism to protect yourself from prior engagements where you knew this is where it was going anyways? So you tried to take control of what you thought was going to happen by saying, I'm going to do it first?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, everything I am today, women made me that. And I've had a long life, been around the world, done military, been banking. I'm in technology now. Everything that most men become, a woman curtailed him to be something like that, to meet a standard. And me, touching on my religious beliefs, I approach women in the sense of, are we evenly yoked? and I immediately get rid of half the women that think they're interested. They don't want to be evenly yoked. Here's my criteria. I heard it several times, whitelisted. Here's my expectations. Do you meet it? And we jump through some hoops. We'll do the dinner. We'll do the car. We'll do the house. Did I meet it? Did I meet it? Can I hit it yet? Maybe, maybe not. That's where our defense mechanisms come in. So I think I've been in the 1,000 date club. I'm trying to be nice when I say it that way, but it resonated with me because I've been down that road. And I don't mind that. I actually will tell anybody who goes out with me, we can go out on a date and we can be friends or we can be lovers, but at some point you're going to have to acknowledge something I said that evening. If not, you'd definitely be put in the friend zone. And you're not taking anything home. Eat it. This ain't this type of thing.
No to go.
To get some.
Don't even look at the menu. After they take it away, it's over.
Hey, but you know what? There'll be something. I got a job. That ain't the question.
Yeah, that's right.
Are we here to enjoy each other? Are we in the luxury of the things that we can do in life? Or are you coming to get yours? You're going to pack some up and tell your girls, I got this nigga to pay $150 for whatever, and I'm just probably not that brother for you. Right. So maybe different, maybe not. I don't know. But that triggered for me when you said that because I have that mechanism where I will blow out a date up front to see what her longevity is. Mm-hmm. And then when she comes back, well, what are your standards? I said, oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm included in this conversation now. And I will lay it out. And we will come to terms. Are we friends or are we interested? If we're interested, we can work it out together. And I don't see it always happening that way for black people. And that's disconcerting for me.
But you catch it early.
Oh, I catch it early.
And you save a lot of money and time. You know,
not too worried about money and time because
everybody don't have it. So sometimes
I think that gets us in trouble too. That definitely got me in trouble.
Yeah. So I want to because I don't want to run out of time. But like I said in the beginning, he asked the question about how are you preparing yourself. So can I get the single people who are not afraid of the mic to come and tell us how you are preparing yourself? I want to touch on that question before I still.
You don't want to let the people in relationships say how they prepared themselves too. I'm just asking.
Well, I want to start with single folks.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's start with single folks.
I'll do 30 seconds.
Okay.
I took issue with the word prepare. And when someone's talking about tools, we try to work out things that we personally can acquire to induce or entice another individual. Tools, individuals need to work with their communication and how they present themselves and their choice. So for me, it's not prepared as what you do to get here, but are you prepared to leave something that's not equal to you? Mm-hmm. And so I think prepare is not a tool, it's an expectation. Are you strong enough? And you have to work, and I heard a lot of that within yourself first. And that's not male or female, that's just people in general. Are you strong enough to identify, is this compatible? Mm-hmm. You know, because I know once I'm in a relationship, I'm the jacket, my life, I've gone down that road. So when it's not working, that's when we start like, oh man, I promised the world my life, you know, raise my child, give the car, a house, and I ain't shit now. Why? Because your girlfriend think you could do better? You know, so that's my thing is I think we're kind of loose with the word tools when we are that tool, and we have to work with each other. So
I think the brother right here actually alluded to that about what tools are being prepared, what can be offered to those people in that context.
She not single.
She ain't single.
I'm not single.
We getting the single. We getting the single people. We got the single people up on the mic first. We come on, single people. Come on, sing. No, I need to know how you prepared yourself. Come on,
he was real clear.
He got that out
okay,
real fast.
We'll let you. Single person, single lady over there on the couch. Come on, single lady, how you prepared yourself?
Well, for myself, growing up in a home with both my mom and my grandmother, all I've seen is them whipping on their men. So I've never seen them not being in control of their situation. So it went from me growing up to my 2 marriages, me being in control because this is what I seen. Yeah, social media, the media, taught me one way, but to me that wasn't the way. So to me, thinking that, I'm going to take control when I go into my relationships. This is me. I'm not taking your last name. We're not joining nothing. This is me. Mine is mine. And that's have always my thoughts been. And then it always been, the pattern's been I've been this perfect person to my family, to whatever, even to the husbands, to the point that they was like, well, that was you, not mine. So they went along with everything that I, ever did, until going into a relationship. Now situationship is like it brought something within me. It made me reveal some things that I never was told, because everything I was being front of, I was like, I was doing it right. So now I'm not doing it right. And it's like, man, I'm like, you don't even say I'm not doing it right. Mm-hmm. So I haven't never been presented as, in a mirror, as who are you? Who you really are. Because you are only as the person that you were told that you were. But I don't know who I was until it was confronted to me. So now I'm preparing myself, looking back over the years of my life, now listening now, doing something different than what I was raised to be, or raised, what was before me. And just now, not only listening, being able to try to communicate, and not always try to put up this mechanism as I'm coming at you like, I'm defense on everything. So I'm trying not to be on a defense mode, and just take it and listen to it and to work with it. And it's actually been working, because now it formed a better relationship with my children. It formed a better relationship with my work environment and everything else, to allow me to see the person who I really am and work on. Now I'm working on it now.
That's a good
I just
answer.
want to give you.
That's a
I
good
just want to say that was so brave
That's a good
to
answer.
give your testimony, looking at yourself. That's so dope.
Anybody else?
But you got to walk around that way, not in front of the camera. Are you single over there, man? Okay, come on over here.
She don't want to come. She
Yep, come
Thank
on.
you, Karen.
Come on. Woo! Hercules.
Hercules. I'm out.
So the question was, how do I prepare myself for a relationship?
Yep.
Okay.
In the mic.
Being a soft landing for my man. Being a communicator and comprehending. Excuse me.
She said, "Pay attention."
Yeah.
Man, we listening. You want us to stare at you?
Yeah.
I got in trouble for that a week ago.
Also, someone said earlier about being not being selfish. So, listening a lot and softening up a little bit, because I used to have a little masculinity, a little bit going on. So
This much.
How do you recognize masculinity in yourself? What does that look like?
me and my eyes is aggressiveness, like being uber passionate about stuff, just bringing it down some, just and
You're doing good.
I am.
You are.
Yeah, so just bringing it down some, and you got to be my boy. I got to be your girl. We got to be able to talk and
Okay.
listen.
Thank you.
Okay. Being a
That's good
soft
answer.
landing.
Being a soft landing.
And remember, the whole point of that question is self-reflection.
Come on, tell us how you preparing yourself for what you say you want.
Pull it down for you.
I'm not that short.
He said that. That wasn't.
I'm trying to prepare myself to be more submissive in a relationship, because I'm so used to being by myself. I'm so used to doing for myself.
Sure.
I spent 21 years in the military. I did 25 years being a sheriff. So it's like, I don't need this. I mean,
Right,
I
right,
get to the
right.
point some days where I'm like, okay, you open the door, I was going to get it. No,
Right,
yeah.
let
right.
somebody else. I'm learning to be able to let somebody else do things for me.
That's wonderful.
And it's a little hard. It gets real hard.
Absolutely.
And now I've gotten older. I'm 60, and now it's like, hey, you ain't coming the same way. I can't move the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn to be more submissive. I don't know about the cooking and the cleaning and
All
the
good.
catering. There you go. So I'm like almost there.
Thank you for your service.
I want you to feel encouraged in that I used to have to race your cousin to the door, but now when she gets to the door, if she beats me to the door, she pauses and waits and lets me come get that thing. Growth in the relationship.
It's a battle, but I'm gonna get there.
And you know what? It's actually it's not a bad thing. It's very common because if you've been on your own, the only person you have to depend on is yourself.
Yeah.
You get your own doors, you wash your own clothes, you buy your own groceries, you pay your own bills. You know, after a while, that becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And if someone comes in that you're allowed, that's able to be a blessing to you and be in your life, to share something as simple as that is like meals and cooking meals or going to the store or somebody washing clothes. You get a man that would like to wash clothes. I like to wash clothes. So I wash my girl clothes. She'd be like, what you doing? Until she realized I do it better than her. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's hard.
Use them Gain dry sheets.
Put
fold dry
I can't
sheets
fold
in
a
the
fitted
dryer.
sheet yet. But I'm just saying
I can't fold.
it's actually normal to feel where you are. It's not a problem. A problem is something you can't fix. We can fix that. You know, the thing is acknowledging it and you sharing it is big.
Yeah.
And then, you know, prayerfully God bless you with someone that's going to be able to, take out the rest
You know, I
of these
have
years with
those that in my ear. Well, you don't need nobody. Don't tell me what I
Those
need.
people ain't qualified to even be in
And
your ear.
And that's
It's
exactly
okay.
what I tell them.
Get them
you
noise
don't know.
reducers.
Right, right.
Put them on.
21 years service, correct?
Yes.
I guess another 5 to 10 in the sheriff's, right? Okay. What I find interesting about that is she's used to working with people and being able to trust those people in her life.
Mhm.
Now she's looking for someone that she doesn't work with, that she can trust in the same capacity in her life.
Mhm.
And I think that's challenging to let
It is.
go of that.
It is.
That wall. Especially when you know on that occupancy we can deal with that. You know, I wish love would,
Right.
because I got more for you.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like, but this is my house, this is my peace, this is my time.
And that was my hardest struggle when I first got out of the military. Before I went to the sheriff's department, was trusting. You know, and these people were different than I was as far as I was concerned. You know, and so now that I did that 25, yeah, exactly,
Great observation, bro.
exactly.
Well, all these ex-military, they understand that
Hey,
whole thing.
hey, that was
It's
great.
It's actually
That was
like
great
I'm
context.
ex-military as well, served in the Persian Gulf War.
Thank you for
And
your
we
service.
always find post careers that kind of align with a measure of discipline that allows us to be able to have some connectivities through some structure and to be able to do some things, you know. So, you know, being a sheriff, me on the fire department, it's just something that it resonates with us. We're comfortable with stress, you know, and it's unfortunate, but we are, you know. But, you know, I think you're doing good. I think what you just did was wonderful.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, wait, before we get the person in the relationship,
The person.
we got
It's
we
married
got
people
another
in here.
single person.
He let us know.
Juanita, ain't you? Walk that way though. Walk around so you don't cut in front of the camera. Come on, single people. Newbie in the room, are you single over there? Okay, come on. We talking about what you are doing to prepare yourself for the man that you want. All right, come on over here, single people. Trinity.
All right.
Okay, I'll let you
So,
go right ahead.
what I am doing is working on me. I'm looking into getting back in counseling. I've done counseling multiple times because it's always some type of issue that, you know, you need some outside issues on. So I really feel like the one thing that I mentioned that I discovered was that I really needed to know what are my non-negotiables, my non-negotiables. So, you know, one thing I realized that I can be easygoing, even though I'm very strong. I can be very easygoing, and sometimes I allow things to go to a point where it's like, okay, I don't like this. But if you really know yourself and you're really listening to yourself, then before it gets to that point, you're gonna say, okay, well, no, I don't think I like that. So I'm gonna go a different route. Or are you okay with me doing this or okay with me doing that? So if you know, can know those things, then it won't go that far. I feel like it should not have taken me 10 months. I should have been able to see some things a little bit sooner. So now I hurt somebody that I really cared about. And I don't like that. So I don't want to get to that point again. I want to be able to stop at this point and say, okay, you're a great person, but maybe not for me. So that's where I am.
Thank you.
Okay, come on, single person. How are you preparing yourself for that man?
Oh, for my husband?
Yes.
I'm finally getting it together.
That mic up. Pull that mic up. We need you on the mic too.
I'm finally getting that together. Preparing myself with learning how to date, learning the difference between dating and courting, that there is a difference, and not putting on these track shoes so fast and just dismissing because I'm a runner. I'm gone. He blinked twice on me. He turned his head this. I'm gone. So being a little more patient, understanding that Trish isn't perfect, that I have imperfections as well as he do. Learning to understand. My motto now is: do I want to be right or do I want to get this right?
That was powerful.
Yeah. So I want to get it right. I want to get it right. So yeah, I've been taking time out and to see my flaws and to see where I can be a better woman, because I was just raised off, you know how to cook and clean and do this and you're going to get a man. That's so not
That's
true.
old stuff. We're going to evolve from there.
So
Yep.
not true. So not true. So, yeah, I am getting myself together.
Good job.
That is good. Okay, come on. We're going to get the youngster, and we're going to see what she's doing to prepare for her husband.
Go Milwaukee.
Okay, so I'm gonna start it off. Y'all might be like, whoa, but two angles here. So a lot of the older, wiser women in my life have told me, you know, obviously you don't look for no husband. He gonna find you. And not even that you need to be prepared or have this or be educated or have these jobs, because somebody who really wants you or loves you, they're not gonna care what status you're at. You know, they're just gonna want to take care of you. But anyways, skip that. What I'm doing to prepare.
You said somebody told you that?
Yes. I've
Yeah,
heard,
she said the women, in
Yes.
the older women in her life. That's the wisdom.
Okay, that's
Yuck.
some. That ain't all. That ain't all. Hold on.
Yuck.
Can I give my time? Thank you. But as I think for myself and growing to the woman I'm becoming, so what I'm doing to prepare, I know I want an educated man. So I've continued my education. I have a couple degrees. I'll probably go back as well. I know I want an emotionally intelligent man as well. So I know I take time, like I meditate. I try to find out who I am behind the eyes, because I want somebody like that as well, you know what I'm saying, who respects me and all of that. So I also take time to work on my masculinity, as Karen said, because I am a little aggressive, and it's like, you know, do what I say or goodbye. But I'm learning that as well, to be more feminine, so I can allow my man, future man, to take care of that. And I'm talking too much, but okay, I'm doing fine. Okay.
No, it's 60 seconds. Like you told everybody else, we got to turn your mic
But
down.
also, I let everybody else go over 60 seconds, if y'all noticed. So, but anyways,
There it is.
making it a priority to do the things, to be the person, as well as the type of person I want to see. So I can't expect a man to have these things or act a certain way if I can't reciprocate. So basically, everything I want in a person, I'm going to pour that into myself first.
I like that.
Be what you want to see. Yep.
And a child shall lead them.
From the mouths of babes. Okay, come on, single person.
So, I'm not looking physically or mentally to be in a relationship. I'm recently divorced.
Okay.
I've been married for 25 years.
Understanding.
And so what I have learned about myself through those 25 years is I was the original 90-day bride. So I met my husband on March the 5th of 2000, and we got married on June 21st of the same year.
Okay.
We got 2 children, family reunions later. I now can say I did not know him long enough to get married to him.
Okay.
But I came from a place of, you made your bed hard, you lay in it. These kids deserve to have 2 parents in their household. I never wanted to be a single mom and all those things, so I stayed in my marriage. Far too long, but I didn't want to be a single mother either, so I did what I had to do. But now I also realize that I'm my own best date. I love going out by myself. I took my first solo trip to Jamaica for my birthday in January. That was a great time. So I'm learning about myself to prepare myself to be with myself and love me for me. So, and I know that about the trust, I think you have to ask that person, do they trust themselves before I can trust you? So that's all I want to say.
All right. That was good. Okay, so where's this person in the relationship? And she want to tell us what she did to prepare. Come on over here, girl. It worked, right?
She loved to share.
It's a process. It's still going. Like I have.
In the mic.
Oh. So this is my person. So we have to constantly check in with each other, constantly communicate with each other, and prepare. Like I said, I was very open about being in therapy and doing my own work first and understanding what it meant to be a wife to him, what being a husband to me meant. So it is constant work, constantly showing up for the person that you want to be in partnership with, and constantly just exploring this love and being what we want to see. And we have children and we have nieces and nephews, and even if you didn't see the example, providing the example. So our nieces and our nephews and our children call us often and ask for advice, and we provide that for them, but it's work. But I want to do the work because he makes me a better person. I like to think that I make him a better person. And yeah, that's all the work that needs to be done.
All right.
Good job.
Let me check what time we got going on here. Oh, we're a little bit over time, but we're gonna share our
Dipped
final
into my
thoughts.
show.
Let's share our final thoughts on this topic, and then we have. Do we need a little break? We got. Okay, go ahead with the final thoughts.
My final thoughts is that everybody should recognize if they don't have the tools. Like, that's a huge thing. And then you have to go out here and look for the tools. You have to talk to some people who are experiencing the type of results that you would like to experience. And even then, that doesn't mean that it will totally apply to you. But as you collect information, you can decide what works for you and what you're aligned with and what you're not. But it really does take tools to have a healthy relationship, that you have to have some conflict resolution skills. You have to have some communication skills. You have to have some listening to comprehend and not listening to respond skills to be able to have a healthy relationship. And so pack up your toolbox, because the more tools you have, the more you'll be capable of building whatever it is, the type of house that you want to have as far as a relationship and a romantic experience is concerned.
Okay.
I would suggest to people to read books on human behavior. Whether it be psychology books, self-help books, especially if you're not prepared or if you're not ready to actually go to therapy. To start by reading books on human behavior, self-help books. And that would allow you to actually think about your own personal behavior. And they also give you some tools in those books as well. And they give you perspective. And so I know that's how I began my journey. So that would be my suggestion.
Les Brown said, you got to be willing to do the things other people won't do in order to have the things other people desire to have.
Yep.
So you're going to have to step outside yourself and stretch yourself to get in a position to receive what you're asking for. And it's going to be uncomfortable. There's nobody successful in life that did not experience discomfort. It is what we do. A rubber band is only good because it stretches. Other than that, it's just a piece of rubber.
That's true.
The whole definition of it is sort of to hold and sustain things. And that's because of its stretching abilities. So you're going to have to stretch your thoughts, stretch your mind, stretch your friendships, stretch your relationships around you. Don't be afraid to remove distractions. Many of us are hindered by what's attached to us. And we have to be strong enough to say one word that you learn, I promise you, is in art. Say no. learn how to say no to yourself, to things around you that you think you love and that you thought loved you. Trust me, you'll sleep better, and there are a lot of other things that you'll do better when you learn how to tell people no. I promise you it's a wonderful gift. I practice no so well.
All right. Well, thank you for that topic.